shoes. This is
I'm gonna put a relevant video for you in the chat, but yeah, keep going, Mara, sorry.
Alright, with that, we are live, my friends. We are live. Hello, everyone! Welcome back to another session of the Trial of Hearts. We are officially on session 15, if you can believe it. I am so excited to be back and playing again. My name is Maris Oram, your humble host and DM for this campaign. We are going to kick things off as we usually do with a round of player intros. So, Sif, give it a go.
Oh my god. Oh, that's me. I'm first. Hi, I'm Sif_VTuber, living suit of armor. I play a game. I do art. I will eventually get back to running Curse of Strahd when my life isn't on fire. Anyways, hi, I'm back again to play Gwyn, alignment friend, bird person here. Current goal, de-establish monarchy. Very happy to be back. Very happy to be with everybody again.
Thank you. Next up, we've got Lily, rocking their new, reactive.
Yeah, so I'll just start there. Lovely new reactive, courtesy of our good friend Day. Day to Bun, I believe, is their current handle, because it changed since last we have been on stream. But they did a absolutely wonderful job with the Topaz reactive. Very happy to have a nice official one. So thank you, Day. And please go check him out. He's amazing. Either way, hello everyone. My name is Lily. I'm an aspiring artist that draws a lot of D&D stuff, including Topaz, as well as many of my other characters and campaigns, such as Mistwalker Spectrum of Eternity, which is the campaign that I run myself. 10 episodes up on YouTube. Next session should be happening this weekend, which I'm very excited about.
Yee, be sure to check out Mistwalker's definitely non-biased player opinion here, but it's pretty great. And you can also see more of Day's incredible Nightmare Fuel artwork. So definitely give it a go. Shoutouts to Day. We love Day in this house. And next up, we've got Vesper.
Hello, my name is Vesper Fortune. When I'm not a deer, I am being a bat over on my own channel where I play games, do art, mess around with Blender, mess around with Photoshop. If I'm not doing it, Polly doesn't exist. Tonight I am playing Oleander Bloodthorne, our lovely, troublesome trickster archaeologist who is the favorite chew toy. When I'm not playing Oleander, I don't do very many other D&D things, but I am also the lore consultant on Comic Tales. Comet Tales, not Comic Tales. Oh my god. So any pain that is thrown at me gets thrown right back.
So true, bestie. Thank you for the pain. I eat it up every time. And last but never least, we have Ares rocking the Halloween witch hat.
hello, I'm ArestheHarpy. I stream and draw stuff and make things, blah blah blah. Playing Luella, the best thing in the universe, a fairy bureaucrat. Definitely not evil.
The best and most scary thing ever concocted. Thank you, everyone. So, let us dive in with a bit of a session recap, since it has been a while since we last played. So, last time on the Trial of Hearts, Essie was grievously wounded, left bleeding out on the floor after the turn of events at the masquerade. A gilded Aasimar fled the scene. A peacock Aarakocra emerged, fretting over Essie, but after uttering the name of Dame Leonora, the illusion was shattered, revealing Essie to actually be none other than the dame herself. The Aasimar returned with the spotted Tabaxi, who revived Dame Leonora with a diamond from her own necklace. And rising to her feet, the dame apologized to her guests for this gruesome turn of events and suggested that everyone return to their rooms. So, At a glance of this unfortunate scene, Oleander suspected that the broken murder weapon belonged to Prince Alto and surmised that this was a very botched job, hardly the work of a professional. It was opportunistic and carried out very poorly. And after scanning the crowd for suspicious parties, Luella noticed that some guests did not linger at the scene of the crime, most notably the man with the frock coat and ceremonial sword, the man who was finely dressed but in an outdated outfit, and the tall and imposing knight, and Scalm. Gwyn took the initiative to investigate, finding bloody footprints leading back to the guest quarters, and followed the trail that led to the princeling's room. He managed to barge in, finding an empty room and an open window, presumably the exit of the perpetrator. Gwyn took up a post outside of their room, standing guard until Adora arrived, perplexed and alarmed about the situation. Gwyn offered to remain on guard to protect her, and eventually a drunken Alto stumbled back to their room in the small hours of the morning. Later in the morning, Luella paid a visit to Dame Leonora. The halfling seemed unable to relax even after an attempted assassination, and requested a report on Luella's investigation into Damus, needing to know if he was a threat to Essie. Luella told Leonora her knowledge of Damus's past and his discovery of the unknown fallen star, as well as Cassian's dabbling in witchcraft, though insist that, as of now, Damus is innocent of any wrongdoing. Luella also implicated the royal family in her accusations, revealing their possession of a crystal weapon. Meanwhile, Topaz and Essie reconnected, where he offered them the opportunity to again attempt their heartfelt love confession, seeing as Topaz unwittingly confessed to the wrong person. Gwyn also shared an intimate moment with the star, wanting to know if given the opportunity, Essie would run away with him. With regret, Essie chose to pursue his desires to see his sister avenged over his own happiness, and together they reaffirmed their allegiance to one another, deciding to stay in Wishbourne no matter how much they may dislike society. Plague caught Oleander in the library, where he begged him to come back home, now that Hollowlight was revealed to be unsafe, but Oleander couldn't be swayed, and Plague made him promise that if he won't leave the matter to rest, then he'd at least involve him in his next plans, whatever they may be. Seemingly satisfied, he departed, but Oleander was not left alone for long, as Essie and Dame Leonora arrived at the library as well. Essie was permitted a moment to talk to Oleander, while the dame kept a respectful but watchful distance. The two agreed that their ambitions were very similar, each wanting the truth more than anything else, and their alliance grew stronger. And finally, Gwyn and Topaz had a quiet moment in the gardens to reflect on current events, and Gwyn admitted that he wished to share a secret, revealing his broken, monstrous harpy form. Fearful but undeterred, Topaz embraced Gwyn, sorry that the world had been so cruel to him, and asked that whatever world Gwyn plans to make, they hope it is a kind one. And that is where we pick things up today. I will start with a refresher of the rumors currently in play, as well as your reputations. Y'all had some really spicy rumors last session, so as I was typing these out, I was just delightfully reminded of your conniving minds. So, first and foremost, we have two scandals, first of which being that the Dame Leonora isn't actually the master of ceremonies, and someone powerful behind the scenes is pulling the strings, using confusion and violence as a means for a power grab. And the second scandal is, Luella and Alto's relationship has become romantic in nature, and they seem all too content to ignore society's disdain for their open flirtations, ballroom dances, and midnight rendezvous. Next are other rumors. Very simply, we have Prince Alto was the one who attempted to kill Essie. Next, After seeing one star-related bait-and-switch already and noticing how protective Gwyn was of Adora, people are beginning to speculate that there is more to the princess than initially assumed. Could the princess, in fact, be the real star? Next, Oleander's masquerade disguise, the Princess Artemis, is in fact his true identity. Next, we've got a couple of fading rumors, one of which being Gwyn has many other illegitimate children, as implied by previous circulating rumors between him and Luella and their closeness. Next, we have the relationship between Topaz and Gwyn being romantic as well. Next, we have Essie having already decided the victor of the trials. Therefore, the trials are a mere sham to weed out those who are overly ambitious and lacking true love. And finally, due to his willingness to mentally harm the contestants in the third trial, it is rumored that Essie is not actually a star at all and is secretly a witch. And as for your reputations, they are unchanged from last session, considering we are still in the same in-game day. So for those of you who had perks or boons, which I believe was just Luella, I think you had a bonus to your insight, your advantage on insight, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
As for everyone else, you are on neutral ground. And with that, we will truly pick up where we left off. First and foremost, Gwyn, you wish to touch base with Dame Leonora. Where would you like to find her, or hope to find her?
Just to follow up, I got the approval from Essie to rope Leonora in, right?
He didn't explicitly say, yes, we should definitely do this, but he did reluctantly agree that you might be right, and it is probably time to loop her in.
Then I assume that Dame Leonora's been busy with the investigations after what, like, happened after Gwyn, like, pointed out, like, hey, whoever did this went to this room, yada yada, I'm gonna go stand guard for, like, all night. Like Dame Leonora's dealing with the aftermath of all that. So I'm assuming she'd probably be in her office, managing several of the guard staff.
That is a very good assumption. That is frequently where Dame Leonora is. So if you would like to meet her at her office, you can certainly find her there, buried under paperwork and empty glasses on her desk, her waitstaff fretting over her, begging her please to rest, and she just, ushers them off. No, I'm fine. But if you enter, her office, she'll, look up, acknowledge your presence, and kind of like how when Luella met with her earlier in the morning, she looked very human is the descriptor that I used before. She's not wearing her ceremonial garb. She's dressed very plainly in just a shirt and trousers. You can see the bandages under her shirt across her chest to cover up the wound that was inflicted upon her. But she looks a little more tired now that we are later into the day, into the afternoon. There's a certain tiredness on her expression where it honestly, you would not be surprised if she has just been reading pages and pages and pages all day, nonstop. And
Apologies, remind me again, people are slowly leaving the estate, right? Like, over time.
Nothing has been decided right away, but people are definitely talking about leaving. Some people are already packing their bags and, like, ready to go. No one's officially left as of yet, though.
And Gwyn's gonna walk into the room, presumably some staff will run past him through the entrance, and it'll just be him, and he'll say, Dame Leonora, do you have a moment to speak amidst all this?
Ah,
He just gestures. Yeah.
Sir Gwyn. Yes, and she straightens up a little more, runs her fingers through her hair to straighten her unorderly, locks real quick, and just always time for you, Sir Gwyn. Was there some matter that I could assist you with?
Is it... I can speak to you in absolute confidence here, correct?
Of course. And she'll look around at the bustling wait staff throughout her office. She'll give a very quick series of, just a couple of claps of her hand, and they all immediately take that signal, give her a bow and a curtsy, and exit the room, leaving the two of you properly alone. What can I do for you?
Do you remember before how I asked to affirm your loyalties to our dear star, to Essie?
Yes.
You seem like he's struggling with the words. His mouth opens, but he's not sure how to broach this. That your relationship with Essie doesn't quite have a label, but as far as I can see, you're truly the closest thing he has to a parental figure, some positive authority within his life.
She gives a little bit of a surprised laugh at that, and shakes her head, just, would that Essie viewed me as such, perhaps I would not be so concerned about his safety. No, our relationship is more of that of an important person and the retainer. I can only give my advice and do my utmost to keep him safe. But what real power do I have over a being millions of years old?
I mean, he's more than just a being. He's Essie. You see it in the way his smug expression, the way he slyly smiles when he gets away with things, the way tears begin to form at his eyes when he saw what you went through for him.
Dame Leonora at that gives a very kind of a pointed look, but it softens into a smile, and she just leans back in her chair. The pretenses are starting to wash away, and almost looks satisfied as she looks at you and says, when last we spoke one-on-one, I was surprised to see that you seem to have grown not just a conscience, but a heart, Sir Gwyn. Now I am truly astounded. With all the things that people say about you, about your past, about your activities, even here at Hollowlight, it seems to me that there's only room for Essie in that heart of yours.
In these trial of hearts, title drop.
That's the title!
In these trial of hearts, that conscience, that heart you make light of, can finally serve a purpose, come to the forefront, no longer just a hindrance of one's childlike wonder. I'm a greedy man, a selfish man. I make no aim to downplay these rumors. If people accuse me of cheating, then if I could have cheated, I'll be honest with you, if I could have cheated, I would have. My motives at the start were very different from where they are now, though. I wish to take the people that I care about and climb atop my dream.
You are honest in your dishonesty. But a heart is not something to be viewed as a hindrance, Sir Gwyn. If anything, and she'll sort of lift a hand over her own heart where she was stabbed the night prior. If anything, a heart is a reminder that we are alive. And if it has grown to care about someone, then it shows that we have a greater purpose than serving ourselves. It's not such a bad thing.
I see. I only wish I had known that at the start of my pursuits. Perhaps great tragedies could have been avoided in my life, but here I am now, the bird before you.
It's a hard lesson to learn.
But I hold it close to my chest now, the same way I know you do for Essie. I know that protectors like us, when given our roles, unless it's something or someone we truly would die for, we wouldn't put ourselves in the Blade's path so easily. Even if there was revivification around the corner. If that was such a case, then the king, queen, the princelings, I wouldn't take a knife for them. But Essie, and you, doing such a thing. Much like myself, Essie has grander motivations than just these trials. I wish to whisk him away, not to safety, but to a grander ambition that he seeks to realize. But it is not mine to share with you. I ask you, in your confidence in him, in your comfort with him, to approach him, to speak with him, to reassure him that he can share his dreams with you, his goal with you.
Well, mind you, were you to whisk away the one in my charge, elope with him, goodness knows, you do realize that I would likely be obligated to track you down.
Then join us. Fight alongside for our dream.
No dream. Tell me, Sir Gwyn, I have a question for you as well. We speak of hearts and ambitions and joining causes, but there's still one thing on my mind. You know what it's like to feel betrayal. You know very keenly the hardship of being abandoned by those you thought close. I want you to explain to me, how did you recover when everyone that you trusted left?
I made my living, my legend, upon the backs and lives of many gems I found out in the world. People with skill, talent, passion, hope. And I watched as each of them tossed their dreams into my bonfire. When one flame burned too bright, when it burnt me in search of its own dream, I looked down at that thorny path I had been climbing to my dream, littered, composed of the bodies of men, women, of people that followed me for my dream. Skalm may have betrayed me by pointing his blade at me, but I betrayed every single one of those gems along my path. I had to let them go. I had to let myself go. I lost that luster that I once sought after, and found it once again in a topaz that stumbled along my path.
See, you had to entirely leave those connections that you once held dear behind in search of something worth fighting for.
I can see why so many men and women and people were willing to toss themselves into my light. Once I've been outshone by the ones around me, I too can see the beauty in it. But that's all the more reason that I need to realize my ambitions. A world where strength and equality roam free. A world where being kind is being strong.
I am astounded at the change in you, Sir Gwyn, in just a matter of weeks. It makes me wonder if anyone ever truly knew the real you. Of course, as you divulged to me, albeit unwittingly, you don't know the real you either. Perhaps this is a start.
Like you said, it's only been a few weeks. I look forward to spending years figuring that out with the people I love by my side.
And you would do anything for them.
I would carry the same wound upon my chest as yours.
I see. I have a task for you then.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to make a announcement later today. One that I think people will be displeased with, though not surprised by. When my guests start to leave Hollowlight, I will no longer have any semblance of control over them or surveillance. So I'm asking you to be my eyes on at least one other person. One that I know very little about, but everything I do know is nothing good. To put it simply, this stranger, the one called Damus, I need you to keep tabs on him. I think he poses a threat to Essie, and if not him, then his master.
Gwyn is gonna close his eyes. Can I make a rough insight check on Damus off of all of the memories and things I've seen of him?
Yeah. You could, I
The
would
player
say... No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was gonna say the player knows he's a Blorbo, but how would Gwyn like view everything after he's realized it? Like, what can I share with Leonora?
Yeah, make either, like, an insight check if you're kind of going off of intuition, or, like, a history check if you're specifically remembering certain instances, like, certain interactions.
We're going off of vibes, and I'm burning a superiority die for this.
All
It's
right.
a 19.
So 19 altogether. Gwen, you have dealt with people of all types, you know, both in your current position at the capital, also as a mercenary, even growing up in the slums. You are very familiar with the art of deception and those who attempt to wield it. Your knee-jerk reaction is, even if Damus was sent here for some nefarious purpose, you don't think he has the mental fortitude or capacity to go through with it.
Dame Leonora, I understand that you haven't had the time to personally acquaintance yourself with each and every one of the guests here. And while I will keep an eye on Damus, as his master is a natural threat to Essie, I want to assure you as to his own character, Damus's own character. He is a person who has been taken and broken by someone who holds little value above him besides of what he carries. I want to assure you of that. Essie trusts him as well. And I respect that. And I respect Damus's, even if he isn't aware of it himself, his desire to break free from his task, from his charge. I would like to support that. So, while I will keep an eye on him, and while I will be wary of his master's goals, I have to also inform you that I acknowledge his worth and his own desires.
You are not the first to issue such sentiments. Mind you, I do place some trust in your judgment. But as you say, I have not taken the time to get acquainted with the man, so I rather like to think that my eyes are unclouded in this matter. I want to hope that he is as good as you suggest, but I cannot put my faith in it. So I ask that, should he behave in a manner suspicious in nature, or if he makes any kind of move against Essie in any capacity, I want the threat eliminated.
I will. If I can assure that he intends to harm Essie, I will intervene.
Very good.
And I will.
Very good. Well, I had just one more thing I would ask of you. Though, I suppose it truly is none of my business at this point, considering it wasn't truly me that you were speaking to. But at the masquerade, you had mentioned that you were planning on divulging and sharing secrets between Essie and Stoneheart. I would advise you that, while your business is your own, do take care.
I will. But what kind of ambitious man would I be were I not to try to grab it all in one swoop?
Of course. I cannot fault you for that. But my concern is, as ever, only with the star himself.
Please do keep in mind what I said, and reach out to Essie once you are able.
I shall. I hope that any secrets that come to light do not damage my growing respect for you, Sir Gwyn.
Should you ever find yourself doubting of my character, I only ask that you look upon my back once more, and assure yourself of this man's ambitions.
I shall remember that. Was there anything else you wish to speak about?
Unless you wish to offer your blessing for my chase in your star, then I believe that should be everything.
Your invitation was blessing enough in your attempt to court the star. And she gives a very playful as Dame Leonora can get smile at that.
All right. But that would all leave.
All right. Next up, Topaz.
Mm-hmm.
You wish to speak to a certain prince, I believe.
Yes. So I just to kind of fill this out, because I think it's funny to specify that it's probably Topaz and Gwyn came back from the gardens together, and they each went their separate ways. Gwyn to Dame Leonora and Topaz to Alto. So just as a little fun thing.
One going to the
but yeah.
host, the other going to a murder suspect.
Mm-hmm. But Topaz is just going to probably walk up to the just the door of the princeling's rooms, and it's just going to give it a gentle knock.
Yeah, so you knock on the door, you hear kind of muffled voices. You can hear the two of them just, chatting indistinctly, and it goes quiet at the knock. Some shuffling movements as someone approaches the door, and open the door, and it is the prince who answers. Ah, Mick Stoneheart, I didn't expect to find you here. What can I do for you?
Well, I suppose given everything that's going on, I found myself a bit worried about, I guess, worried that if everything was all right with you folks.
Ah,
Given
that's...
your room was the scene of the crime and all.
Kind of clears his throat awkwardly, that's good of you to, care. No, we are doing fine. I appreciate your concerns, though. I'm only sorry that, you had to see such a gruesome sight. I believe you were up close and personal to the events.
Well, he had stepped away a bit after having a dance, but, well, I suppose I should say she, considering it was Dame Leonora and all. But, yeah, I guess, given everything that we've talked about, I just wanted to make sure you were all right. I don't have much else. No.
Mick Stoneheart, would you care for a drink?
You know, I would love a drink if you're offering.
And his expression has been kind of careful in this interaction, but it relaxes a little bit, and he turns over his shoulder and goes, Adora, I'm getting a drink, all right? And he sort of asks this in a way that it seems like he's kind of annoyed with her, and she looks over, and you can sort of see her, peer into the corner of the room, and look him over, look at you, make eye contact with you, back at him, gives a stiff nod of her head and goes back to her own business. He goes, oh, right. Let's, head into the den, shall we?
Right. Has she been not kind about this whole situation? I mean, I suppose it doesn't feel good to be
As ever,
suspected.
as
Go ahead.
he pauses a moment, shuts the door, walks a few paces before he continues that thought. As ever, my darling sister is a little peeved at me, and seems to think that all of this certainly must be my own fault for one reason or another, because, well, when rumors circulate, certainly the one it is circulating about must have done something, yes? So, I have been hearing it non-stop.
I would assume so. I didn't want to bring it up, but I mean, I don't see you as the kind of person that would do that.
I'm very pleased that there is one person in my corner.
Topaz just kind of like looks embarrassed at that statement of just like oh, well. But kind of continues on a bit quieter for the moment until they get to the den. Topaz probably pours herself like a small glass of wine and just kind of sits down. across from Alto.
Give me, in this moment, an insight check as to
Okay.
Alto's general demeanor.
It's a 30.
Holy shit! All right. Wow. Okay, so you sit down. Give me this man's backstory.
It's not a natural 20, but I mean, a modified 30 is still pretty good.
Tell me about his childhood. All right. So you sit down, and you're watching him in this moment, and you've interacted with Alto a few times, and usually, whenever it's the two of you, one-on-one, he seems to be a little more relaxed. He had mentioned, before that he likes knowing that you're not trying to get something out of him, so he feels a little more at ease around your person. That does not seem the case in this moment. This man is not relaxed at all, but you can tell he is very much trying to put on the airs that he is. So he's got this very practiced expression on his face. He is still walking with a very calculated swagger. But when he goes to pour himself a drink, he picks up that bottle of liquor, and his hand is shaking. And you can see the liquid, shaking in the bottle as he is pouring it for himself. So whatever is distressing him, he seems very unnerved in this moment.
Well, this is what Topaz does. So Topaz is going to speak up and say, "I can tell you're not doing all right."
He pauses, puts the bottle down, takes his drink, and takes a seat across from you. Takes that drink and knocks it back. And then looks at you and says, "I don't know what you mean."
Now, I know I may seem the fool, and that I'm not exactly the best in social situations, but I can tell. Well, I can read people quite well, and I know how you're acting right now is certainly not the way you acted when we've talked the previous times.
Huh. My. Honesty. Brutal. It's, still strangely refreshing.
I hope it's not catching you off guard. Considering
Considering
Anders-
the recent state of affairs, there's little else that could catch me further off guard at this point. Mick Stoneheart. Since being at Hollowlight, there's been all sorts of rumors about anybody. No one's truly safe from gossip, scandal. Even you have had some nasty things tittered about you. How did you feel when people talked about your relationship with Sir Gwyn, whether or not it was true? People speculated that you were quite intimate with him, and with the star.
I suppose for those sorts of things, my only worry was about how it would affect them. I know it's a bit selfless to play that, but I mean, I don't exactly have much of a reputation. My reputation has kind of been built here. And it's definitely been a bit up and down, considering that for a while people were wondering if I was even a member of my own family. So,
Yes, that must have stung, didn't it?
it did. But what really hurt was seeing it affect others. My sister, most of all. I mean, I know I know they're a lie, so if people want to think that about me, then, well, they just don't know me, because at least I try and pride myself that if you actually got to know me, it's pretty clear what I'm about.
Yes, exactly. Just that. If it's a lie, it doesn't matter, because you know it's a lie. And you know that no matter what anyone else says about you, they can't lord it over you. We understand that, you and I. That's why rumors never bothered me. I never cared what anyone said about me, or even about my sister, because I knew it was nothing but a lie. But this... this... what people are saying... that He just kind of shakes his head and leans back in his chair. This I can't make sense of.
I have to do something.
Uh-huh.
Topaz trusts Alto, but a thought crosses their mind. Does he have his sword?
He does not.
So you could probably see Topaz kind of glances down while Alto is talking, notices that, then goes back.
Do
I mean,
you
if it's
do
not,
that stealthily? Like a quick
I think
little
it's pretty.
glance?
I think it's pretty quick.
Give me a stealth check real quick. Or a sleight of
Okay.
hand.
Same roll. So that's an 8.
Okay,
Okay.
that's all.
I think that's fine. I made my mistake intentionally. Topaz would just be like, I mean, if it's not true, then it's not true. You should be able to prove it. I mean, if they wanted to hold a trial against you or something like that to figure out the truth of things, you just tell them what you did.
Mick Stoneheart, while your faith in others and the systems in place is quite admirable, you must realize that should I be cleared of all suspicions of these rumors, the recent ones, anyway, won't it just look like some sort of cover-up from the Crown?
Is there any way for it not to look like a cover-up from the Crown?
Privilege has its ups and downs, I'm afraid.
You're right that I don't understand that whole situation as nearly as well as I'm sure you do. I wasn't exactly taught any sort of law or such by any governesses.
The most that I've learned is that most often, any crimes can be forgiven with enough money in the right person's palm. But I think that attempted murder of a fallen star is a bit more than bribery can handle.
Most likely, yes.
But you don't think that I did it?
I don't think you did it. But
Why? Most others do.
you don't seem to be the person to do something like that. If you had truly were the one to let me start over. I know you play the fool, but I also have this deep feeling that there's more to you than meets the eye. And sneaking off and then being the prime suspect, I guess it just seems sloppy. I've read enough murder mystery books in my time. It just seems too easy.
Oh, you are a rare gem, aren't you?
A topaz is not exactly the most rare, but
Oh, refreshing. That's what you are. Most refreshing.
I mean, maybe I read too much into my storybooks and that real life is different. But I don't think you would have come out to talk to me if you had done it.
Ah. Well, if and when all of this blows over, I am relieved to know that I have people like you and Miss Stalwix to keep me in line.
Are things going well with her?
He kind of looks up and he pauses, like perhaps he said something that he shouldn't have, considering a lot of the rumors circulating between the two of them. And he just kind of cracks a grin and goes, "We are good drinking friends. That is all."
Right. I just. Maybe I read a bit too much into that rumor. It just seemed. Well, that would be good for the both of you, I suppose.
No, tell that to her, please.
Uh, Noted. When I get the chance.
I think... No. I know that you are a good person, Mick Stoneheart. And despite all my valiant efforts, I don't think that there's anything that I nor the corrupted people of Hollowlight can do to change that. And so, I see the error of my ways, and I now request that you, no matter all that you endure, no matter how many snobs trip into your path, no matter how many scoundrels try to sully your name, I want you to promise me, Mick Stoneheart, that you will never, ever change.
Well, I suppose that people do always change at least little bits here and there, but. That's not the answer you're looking for.
No, the essence of you.
The essence of me, of course. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Well, I should probably be heading back to my nanny of a sister. And you should probably not be seen in my company for much longer.
I suppose so.
But I do thank you for your company.
I appreciate you talking to me. It does help to clear my conscience at least a little bit. Not conscience, I suppose isn't the right word. My worries.
You were worried about me.
I mean, of course. You have been kind to me. That's worth something. I mean, we didn't get off on the best foot at the start, but I don't know. You always seemed to be the kind of person that maybe was just peacocking because they felt they had to.
Speaking of peacocking, you might want to avoid Adora for a little while. She was dreadfully upset that you were the best dressed at the masquerade.
That is my profession, if you wish to remind her of that.
She would argue that your profession is to dress others and not yourself.
Well, I deserve to have as much of the glamour as any other person.
Don't we all, darling? Well, farewell, McStoneheart. I hope that we'll see each other again.
I hope so too.
All right, and with that, the two of you have your drink and go your separate ways. Moving on. It comes time for dinner. We are now entering the evening of the day, and everyone gathers in the dining hall. There's a bit of an anxious buzz. Everyone's talking, but not about anything good. Previously, there was always an air of excitement and anticipation and curiosity, wondering what's gonna come in the next day. But now it just kind of feels like there is a cloud of anxiety over all of the guests, wondering about what happened at the masquerade, who was responsible. Alto's name is definitely thrown around pretty often. And, people are talking about Dame Leonora. What is she doing? How did she allow this to happen? So on and so forth. By the way, did you see that Sir Gwyn kicked down Adora's door? What was that about? So there's just a lot of anxious chattering throughout the room as people are eating. And as the meal starts to wind down, you hear the clinking of a glass, and Dame Leonora takes the center stage, so to speak, and clears her throat, motioning for everyone to be quiet. If you'll excuse me, everyone, I do have an announcement to make this evening. As I'm sure you're aware, recent events have put everyone on edge. Essie's safety, as well as your own, has always been my top priority. Regrettably, the assailant from last night's attack has not been identified, and I cannot, in good faith, keep you all here while everyone is at risk. That is why, even though it is unprecedented, I regretfully am announcing the cessation of the Trial of Hearts, effective immediately. I do not make this decision lightly, as I know what a disappointment it must be to you all. I will be in conference with the Empress Tamus to determine our next course of action regarding Essie's future and well-being, but in the meantime, I must ask that you depart tomorrow. I grant you this evening to gather your things and to make your arrangements, and I must also ask that you do not return to Hollowlight until you receive word from me, personally. again, I do apologize for this turn of events. And please know that I am just as disappointed as you all. She gives a very deep and courteous bow and promptly withdraws and moves to escort Essie out of the room before people get too rowdy and riled up in their outrage.
Can I make an insight check to see if there's anyone who seemed a little, I want to say, off during that whole,
Off how? Could you be a bit more specific on that?
Someone who didn't seem, I don't want to say surprised, but maybe like a bit too calm, like, I suspected this would happen, or like, I don't know, some kind of like behavior that would indicate that they might have been the stabber.
Does anyone look particularly stabby right now? Tell you what. I'll roll that insight and I'll tell you what you see in the crowd.
Okay. I do not see anything.
A 12. I would say no one seems to be acting strange. There's kind of a variety of emotions in this moment. People are understandably disappointed. Some people actually look kind of relieved. Like Cecil Brotzley, for example, looks very relieved. He didn't want to stay under the roof with a murderer, you know? So he's like kind of thankful that he now has the okay to go home. But then you also...
Of course it's Cecil.
But for anyone who looks calm and collected, I would probably say Harriet Lockhart looks pretty calm about all of this. And, correct me if I'm wrong in this assumption, but I would also say Gwyn looks particularly calm about this as well. As though he kind of suspected this was going to happen.
My further paranoia about Harriet Lockhart continues, but that's all I wanted to do.
All right. Anything else anyone wanted to do in this exact moment? If not, we shall move on. All right. I will say, though, each of you at this moment, you feel something, each of you, sort of appear in your pockets. You feel a shift, a weight. You hear a slight crinkle of paper that you hadn't realized was there before. If you feel so inclined, you may look at it now, or whenever you wish.
Topaz ain't subtle. She would look at it now.
Topaz, you open this mysterious little piece of paper. It's just a very simple piece of paper, very small, like note card sized, folded, into quarters. And it is a recognizable handwriting, and it says, change of venue, library, and then a little star drawing.
I imagine just Topaz, who's sitting with Lapis, just probably looks over at her and says, I think I need to go somewhere.
Yeah, we need to go pack. It's gonna take us forever.
Oh, God, I'm going to be up so late.
So many dresses.
But it's not to the room.
She gives you this look of, we'll talk later.
Exactly.
I'd like to imagine Gwyn can see this and would like to add fire, and then just like I'm assuming because he's probably read the letter too. He's gonna put his hand on. I'm assuming everyone's letters say the same thing. Right?
They do, yes. They all say the same
Yeah,
thing.
and just right in front of their sister. He's gonna put his hand on Topaz's arm on his shoulder and go, "I'll see you there later, Topaz." And sister walks off.
Her jaw drops. Lapis's jaw drops. And she is just staring at you, Topaz.
Stop that! I promise.
Oleander is seeing all of this and trying not to laugh because he just knows what's going
Topaz is blushing really bad, but probably giving Gwyn like a mean look. Come on.
Well,
I'm silly.
I'll see you back in the room, but don't be too late. I'm not packing your dresses.
No, I know that's my responsibility. I wouldn't let you touch it either way.
Maybe I will touch it. Maybe I'll crinkle your taffeta.
Don't.
I don't know. You better hurry up from your little rendezvous with Sir Gwyn then.
Abyss. I'll see you soon.
Fine. She'll kind of huff off. But yeah, you each get a little note signaling to meet Essie in the library. But before that, Oleander, you wanted to catch up with Parthenia.
Yes.
Would you like to grab her in this moment, or wait for things to quiet down? How would you like to go about this?
Oleander will probably give a few moments to let everything settle down because he doesn't want to immediately start any more fires than necessary. So he's going to wait until everyone's gone back to their rooms, and he is going to knock on Parthenia's door, and he'll wait for her to approach.
Yeah, Parthenia will, kind of promptly open the door and see that it's you, and she looks pretty casual. Normally she's dressed, very smartly, very much likes to show, her different, cultural attires. But now she's dressed very simply, and you can kind of see in the background, it's very evident she's been, packing her things. So she didn't want to get, her outfit all mussed up.
Yeah.
And just, Mr. Oleander, to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit?
I just wanted to check in and see how you were doing with everything.
Disappointed, as I'm sure you can imagine, but, what can we do? Please, would you like to come inside?
Sure, can I get the lowdown on Parthenia's room before it's all packed up?
Yeah, so Parthenia she is pretty uptight, right? So her room is very much a reflection of that. And so you can see even areas like the vanity, which would, in any ordinary room would be littered with perfume and makeup and hair products and so on and so forth. Everything is placed in pristine, exact lines. She has a set place for everything. It's the same on her end table. She's got, even her stacks of books are in perfect order and alphabetized from top to bottom. Everything is just so. In fact, you are probably seeing it the messiest that it's ever been because she's in a state of, packing it.
Gotcha.
So, what about yourself? Even though you didn't come for the star, I imagine you must be feeling disappointed yourself. After all, it's difficult to investigate when everyone's no longer under the same roof.
That is true, but I can make do. I've always made do.
Of course.
It'll be nice to have a library where I have more access to information and probably a little less bias from the Celestial Court.
Ah. One can hope, after all. What?
Seem to continue.
I merely wish to inquire what exactly you plan to do next.
That's something I will be thinking upon later, I think. I should apologize that I didn't immediately check and see how you were doing after the masquerade.
Oleander, I realize that we now have a budding friendship of sorts, but my well-being is not your responsibility, and I would not wish to place that burden upon you. But the sentiment is well received.
Okay, I see. I just figured with everything happening, I merely wish to check in upon you.
Thank you. And she kind of sits on the edge of her mattress and sighs. It's difficult to act as though everything's fine, isn't it? 'Cause it isn't fine. After all, someone was brutally attacked. And yet, people's biggest concern seems to be that the trials are over. Even in light of everything, it's all about vanity.
It shows a lot about who came here and why.
Cream of the crop, indeed.
I don't know. You're here. You're pretty swell.
Flatterer. No, I put in a valiant effort. And I suppose I'll have to be proud with just that. And she'll kind of lean in close and give you a mischievous sort of smirk. But at least I can say I did better than the twins.
Oh, I would say so. May I ask, I know this might seem a little light and I don't want to say out of character, but it seems light amidst all the things happening. Who were you last night?
Ah,
I want to take a guess, but
by all means, take your guess. I never would have guessed yours, for the record.
well, I've learned some trickery in my days. But were you the halfling, the bacchanal gear?
Ah, just so. Very good
I knew
guess.
it. It was the green and the leaves.
A tad on the nose, perhaps, but I did get a very fresh, new vantage point of the world at only being a few feet tall, so it gave me a greater appreciation for my usual attributes.
quite similar here. May I ask, what do you have any insight to the brutality that happened last night?
Well, speaking from a purely academic and historical standpoint, assassinations typically only have very few purposes. One is to send a message. Two is self-indulgence. I worry about the implications of either possibility. Particularly after our recent discussions. It seems eerie that you and I talked of royal assassinations, only for the dame to be killed a day later.
I want to say that they were probably aiming for Essie, but I
Indeed.
can't be sure of that. Not 100%.
Well, if someone truly had it out for Dame Leonora, well, they've had plenty of opportunities, and it certainly wouldn't have been the first time she survived an attempt on her life. But considering where we are and why we're here, I do think Essie was the intended target. But they didn't stick around to finish the job. So something went wrong.
Someone... Do you think we have a witness somewhere?
Someone did scream. Perhaps someone saw.
Well, I meant to check in on you. I didn't mean to bother you too much with all of this again.
No, it feels good to be able to talk through it. When things seem chaotic and troublesome, it feels good to know that there's logic in everything. History often repeats itself, you see.
Fortunately and unfortunately.
Quite.
Do tell me if you need anything before you leave.
I will. And I do hope to see you at the capital, if not at the university. It's been too long since we've seen you there.
I swear it's like I'm the only archaeologist doing some things.
You're the only one left still getting his hands dirty.
And it seems they're going to get dirtier in the near future, I think.
Well, regardless of what your plans are, make sure to reserve time to stop by for tea.
I shall.
Good. I'll hold you to that.
I will see you later, poor thing. And Oleander gets up to leave and heads outside the room.
All right. You exit the room, and as soon as the door closes behind you, you hear it click, locked into place.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
All right. You all gained your individual messages from Essie. And unless there's anything else anyone wishes to do, you can start to congregate at the library.
To the library.
To the library.
I think Topaz would probably, if Luella, whenever Luella gets there, would kind of go over to Luella and just quickly relay Alto's statement of just, Alto would love to spend more time with you, by the way.
She looks slightly surprised.
Priorities. First and foremost. This
They
guy
had to do it before-
who's
They had to do it
suspected
before
of
they
murder. He wants to
they
hang
had to do it
out.
before they forgot.
First and foremost, your love life.
Alto is down to Netflix and chill, by the way. Anyway, down to business. Oh, too funny. Yeah, everyone, gathers at the library. Essie is already there, surprisingly, by himself, in the library, and sort of, nestled in the far corner of the library with, like, the fireplace and the chairs, a couple of tables, and motions for you all to come close, make yourselves comfortable. I'm glad you got my note. Thank you for coming.
Always.
I was worried that, well, a secret meeting place, if you go to it enough times, rarely stays secret, so I figured we should meet elsewhere this time.
Speaking of which, Oleander closes the doors to the library and locks them. We're not having any eavesdroppers tonight.
Everyone make a perception check.
Okay.
Reception.
Artificial 20.
16.
Oh,
I wasn't dropping no eaves, sir.
Alright, we got a dirty 20, a 16, 11, and a 10. I'd say with your powers combined, particularly, Gwyn, you hear, like, the tiniest, like, creak in the floorboards. And, like, someone shifted their weight, like, behind a bookcase. And Essie just kind of sighs and sees, like, your ears perk up at that and goes, yes, well, about that. Our entourage has gained a new member. And at that, pseudo-introduction, around the corner comes Dame Leonora. And she just kind of looks at each of you. The usual suspects, I suppose.
In a good way, I hope.
You were a
Surprise.
little bit of a surprise, Mick Stoneheart.
Fair enough, I don't exactly belong in these sorts of situations, but here I am.
everyone
I
needs a goody-goody.
I have to surprise. I have to say, I'm surprised, Dame Leonora. I never imagined you'd be skulking within the confines of this library instead of standing proudly aside Essie.
Well, this is Essie's group, I suppose. And Essie enjoys his illusion of freedom in these regards, so I didn't wish to disturb. Besides, I had initially thought that you would be more forthcoming in your discussion if you didn't know I was here. But since we are all on, I presume, the same page now, I hope you don't mind my presence.
I think it better that you know, especially since the attempt upon, we'll say, Essie's life, though it happened to you, does involve you, and I don't think we can no longer involve you in these matters.
Well, better late than never, I suppose, although I certainly would have liked to have been clued in much sooner. And she gives a very pointed look in Essie's direction. And he just kind of shrugs it off, just, well, forgive me for not cluing in my overbearing chaperone in this regard. But
Oleander,
go ahead.
Oleander leans over to Topaz and is like, does this remind you of conversations you've had with your parents?
Couldn't even begin to describe it.
So please, behave as you normally do. I will be paying attention. I will offer my insight as I deem necessary. But first and foremost, I do believe that Essie had something that he wished to say. Yes, look, I want to be honest with all of you. I wanted to be honest as we underwent this investigation together so that we could trust each other. So, I wish to continue to be honest now, especially since Dame Leonora suspended the trials. So I wish to say to each of you that at the start of the trials, you all know my ambitions in coming here. You know the reasons why I fell to this planet. That is my utmost priority. I had no intention of truly following through with anyone, any contender at the trials. I simply wanted to align myself with the person I thought could best assist me in my goals, in finding out what happened to my sister. But now that it's all ending, now that the trials are suspended, and everyone will be leaving, I find myself lamenting the fact that there's a chance I may never see any of you again. After all, with my safety at risk, I'm sure that the dame plans to keep a very tight leash on me for safety's sake. So, I wanted to thank you, all of you, for your help, and assure you that you're under no obligation to continue assisting me in this manner after you've departed. But if I may be so bold as to say, I hope that I can still count on you. Each of you.
I know I said this is kind of a bit of not my usual place, but as I'm not gonna stop here. If there's more that you need, I'd be happy to help.
Gives you a smile and a nod of his head, and gets up from his chair and goes to take your hands. He gives him just a little kiss on your knuckles. Thank you, Topaz.
Gonna be going to the capital. I assume there may be some information to be garnered there, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
I imagine that the capital would be the place best to get answers, but it's likely the most dangerous place to be as well.
With me by your side, there shouldn't be any fear for residing in the capital. I may not have my men, but I have my connections.
What? I mean, if even Dame Leonora didn't expect I was involved in here, you could always stay at Diamonds with us. I don't think anybody would expect you to be there.
Yeah, as you guys mention Essie going to the capital with you, he kind of whirls around to Dame Leonora and looks at her very expectantly. And she just crosses her arms over her chest. She goes, "No, I'm putting my foot down. I told you, you're not going to the capital." "Oh, no, but don't you see? That's where all of the answers are. That's where she used to be, and that's also where the people that you suspect killed her are. Frankly, a full-blown conspiracy against the royal family." And she looks at each of you very levelly, very carefully. "Frankly, I could have all of you arrested for treason."
But could you promise that we won't get out?
It's also the matter of your own reputation and the lack of faith from your rumors.
Dame Leonora, she's clearly in this, as in this moment, that leveled expression cracks as she just heaves a sigh, just this deep sigh, and just, oh. Fortunately for each of you, my loyalties lie with the Empress, first and foremost, and Essie, second. So, if you're going to enact any harebrained ideas against the Crown, you'll be needing the backing of the Celestial Court. So I will do my utmost to bring any evidence you give me to the Empress.
We've got some good folks here. I mean, I'm assuming if you're still willing to help, Luella, that could gather information. I know you're really good at that.
I have already pledged my help. And I will continue to help as I am able.
Oh, and
Well-
besides, wasn't it the idea of the second trial to determine who can protect him? And I mean, isn't that us?
Essie
Topaz says very
again.
proudly.
Essie again looks at Dame Leonora very expectantly, and again Dame Leonora sighs, heaves a sigh, and looks at particularly Gwyn in this moment, who is the winner of the second trial, and just, I suppose there is logic in such a statement.
Topaz looks very pleased with himself.
I don't.
Dame Leonora,
Go ahead.
Dame Leonora, I promise. We will not be going into this nest of vipers without vipers of our own. We have a whole den of snakes ready and willing in the capital.
And I want your guarantee here and now that you will keep Essie out of that den of snakes.
I can guarantee.
Essie deflates a little bit. So, can I go then? With them? To the capital? Dame Leonora takes her time to regard each of you, and finally relaxes her body posture a little bit, her shoulders sort of falling. Very well. But I expect daily updates about your well-being, what you've been up to, and what you plan to do. If we're going to go about this, we must do so carefully. Am I understood?
Very, very much, Dame Leonora.
Very.
Oleander gives a very business-like nod.
If we,
And if you
go ahead, Luella.
and if you should wish, we could have Essie perhaps doing hourly updates. Hard to get into trouble when you are too busy filling out forms and reading books.
Essie just, like, makes the hand motion of stop. Stop.
Actually, speaking of communications, Dame Leonora, would you be ever so kind as to provide us a way to reach out to you in case of an emergency? Perhaps a scroll of sending.
Ah. One moment, please. And she'll, weave through the labyrinth of bookshelves. You can hear her, like, rustling and going, now, where did I put it? Blah, 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 blah. Where did this go? aha, and you hear her pull something off of a shelf and make her way back over to you, and with this large tome in hand, and she opens it up, and it's one of those like false books with like a little pocket inside of it, and she procures a scroll. It's all dusty, blows the dust off of it, and proceeds to hand it to Luella, actually. She's going to hand it to Luella. And looks at you and she says, should you need anything, any emergency situation that arises, you can use this to contact me. And she does give you that scroll of sending.
Luella tucks it away in her bag very quickly.
Now, if we're trying to be quiet and stealthy, I don't think you can just walk into the capital, Essie. It's probably a good idea to keep you as secret as possible.
And how exactly do you suggest we enter the capital? Are you going to smuggle me in?
We could.
False identity is rather easy to create as long as it doesn't need to last for too long or hold up to particular scrutiny.
That, and there is a certain sky pirate that does smuggle things for a living.
Dame Leonora, at this suggestion, starts to glare in your general direction, and it clearly looks like she's starting to regret agreeing to this.
It's not
Refreshing our luck.
It's not exactly an illegal thing, but I mean...
Mix Stoneheart, are you suggesting that I put my faith in a notorious, violent criminal?
I mean, he's
But
not
she-
that bad.
The man whose own second hand attacked Sir Gwyn. You want to put Essie on that boat?
Well,
I was about to say something, but the mention of Scalby just shuts up. Well, that's a really good point. I don't. Damn, that's crazy.
Essie deflates a little bit more. His idea of adventure is getting less and less fun.
if I may, though, if we're gonna be standing against what could possibly be the crown, I think we could use some allies beyond just the 5 of us.
You're about to have the backing of the Celestial Court, Mick Stoneheart.
You're right.
But by all
Oleander
means,
is
if
like-
you would rather place your faith in Captain Wild than the Empress...
That's not the insinuation I was trying to get out of that situation. I was just trying to cover bases as much as possible. I mean, Oleander over here is just like a crime lord of the underworld or something like that, and we're not throwing the same scrutiny to him.
What's Oleander?
What?
Just like
Oleander
how
has
to
been...
you-
Oleander has had the opportunity to be cleared of any immediate suspicions. Captain Wild, however, very much lives up to his reputation.
Fair enough.
There
I just wanted
perhaps
to make
is
it
a
as safe as
solution.
possible.
A solution.
We need somebody smuggled into the capital under as little scrutiny as possible. We have with us somebody with vast reach and I believe the standing to guarantee safety. She looks at Oleander. And who owes a favor.
I can very easily get to that documentation and seeing about getting Essie into the capital with very little scrutiny. However, we do have the issue of some of the people who are already here going back to the capital, besides us. So, Essie, I think you might need to learn how to style your hair, and I hate to say this, we might need you dressing a bit down.
He scrunches his face. What's wrong with my hair?
I hate to tell you this, but it's one of your most iconic features. I'm not saying we need to cut it, but braiding it.
He places a hand on his chest.
Walnut,
Appalled.
walnut oil would dye it a beautiful black.
Another
Very
hand on his chest, appalled.
You could always dress like the adventurer you've always desired to be.
I suppose there's a certain charm in dressing a little more... Again, his face scrunches. Rugged.
I might have something that could help with that. I'm not sure.
We do have another person who
good for?
does need their wardrobe updated before we go into the capital. And Oleander notices Damus has been really quiet, but he does.
Oh, Damus
like
is not
turn
here.
to him.
Damus is not here.
Hmm.
That is why he's so quiet. He was not here.
Isn't that
Then I
crazy,
take
Davis?
back what I
Oleander.
said.
Oleander, take your pills, buddy.
Damus has been dead for 5 years.
You have to let it go.
But either way, I don't know where would be the safest place to stay. I can ask my sister. I don't think. As I
Which
said, I don't think.
you'll
people
have
would
to be a
expect-
tad more specific, Mick Stoneheart.
Right.
To which sister do you refer to?
Diamond.
Ugh. Hardly the classiest place, but...
It is very nice. She's extraordinarily wealthy. Has servants to attend to her every need.
I suppose. I suppose it would be a poor idea to have Essie reside in my own home in the capital. It would be a tad bit too obvious. She kind of looks at each of you, sort of. You could see the wheels in her head turning, and one might surmise that she is quickly running through like her mental files about what she knows about each of you. Looks over at Gwyn, knows he just has an apartment in the castle. Looks at Oleander, knows he's just got like some tiny academic studio. Looks at Luella, knows that she has a countryside estate. Also knows that she's got like a moderately sized home in the capital, but probably not big enough to host an entire entourage of people. And looks back at Topaz and just... I suppose she does have the space for it.
I'm also the least suspicious, so that's a win, right?
I suppose no one would ever suspect a star to be residing in a house of ill repute, but... looks at Essie. Essie's eyes are starting to like sparkle. He doesn't know. He doesn't know who Diamond is. He doesn't know like what's up. Well, I guess he does kind of know who Diamond is because you
He knows
talked
a
about
vague idea.
you
Yeah.
talked about her books before. But just the idea of like staying in a place that Dame Leonora doesn't approve of is enough to like make him excited. She just sighs yet again, just very well, but the instant that I find somewhere more suitable, we're relocating there.
Understood. I don't mean to assume anything. I just wanted to. I thought it a good idea.
No, you are right in that regard, that it's not a very suspicious location. But be careful wherever you reside. There are more people in the capital, which means more eyes, more ears. A harmless visit to anyone's home can be misinterpreted 1,000 different ways. And people will always talk. Right, so we're agreed, then. Once we leave Hollowlight, we'll go to Diamond Stonehearts. As to the manner of which I will arrive there, I suppose I'm placing myself entirely in Mr. Oleander's hands. Unless you think I might get a better deal with air travel, gives Topaz a big smile, and Dame Leonora just frowns even more.
I will make sure everything goes well.
And remember, Dame Leonora says, daily updates. I'll be around and in touch. And as soon as I hear anything from the Empress, Essie will be the first to know. Thank you, Dame Leonora. Thank you. And unless there's anything anyone wishes to say to either Essie or the Dame, your meeting is concluded.
I think just really quick before the series of Topaz talks, Topaz is probably going to wait for people to clear a bit and then pull Essie aside and just probably going to say, I'm not going to be able to keep this quiet from my sister. She probably needs to be looped in at least a bit.
Yes. Now that you mention that, I think you're right. After all, if we're going to be staying at your sister's house, well, I know
Lapis
how
and Diamond.
I know how
likely.
I know how close you are to Lapis. I do not mind if you let her know our true intentions being at the capital. But and he kind of like has this pained smile on his face, like he's hesitating to say what he's thinking, and just it's just she's a bit of a gossip, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Can you keep that under control.
I think if it's serious enough, which this is, I think it'll be all right.
Okay. I'll trust you on that.
And I know we're not Lupin and Wild, but if the time comes, I do think you'd be a good ally.
I'm inclined to agree. After all, as you pointed out, he did win the second trial along with Sir Gwyn. Therefore, he is more than capable of keeping me safe, should the need arise. And I know that you trust him.
I do. I know he hasn't had the chance to prove it to you yet. And I suppose neither has Lapis, but if this does come to some sort of confrontation, we do need people in our corner.
And a 40-gunner ship doesn't hurt either.
Absolutely.
We'll
I
think
won't
on
bring
that.
it up. I won't bring it up with him. I'll let you do that, if you deem it necessary.
Thank you. I'll do just that. All right.
Can I?
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I catch Essie on the way out?
Certainly.
I'm gonna be more like waiting outside the library, as I probably actually need to go back in.
Yeah, so, Essie comes out the library door, sees you kind of lingering, and looks up at you with a expectant smile and just... Something else you needed.
I'm... Did the note that we all received, was it also delivered to Damus, or did you decide for his own anxiety's sake to not have him in the same room as Dame Leonora?
He kind of looks around and sees Dame Leonora, several paces ahead down the hallway, and he looks at her, and she's looking at him expectantly, like, come on, keep up. And he quickly leans over, I guess up and over to you, and just... Dame Leonora doesn't exactly trust Damus. So I thought it best to not include him in this little meeting.
I presume you want me to fill him in.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
I shall do so. But, which is why I'm still staying around. There's something I want to mention to you. And he'll, start walking with Essie so it doesn't look too suspicious. So that he'll, get Essie behind Dame Leonora. Damus told me something about the third trial, and I want your opinion on it.
Certainly. I'd be curious to know what he said. I thought it was some of my best work, after all.
When you did those illusions, I presume they worked off of the subconscious. How we perceived them the last we saw, or within our hearts, correct? Something of that sort?
Oh, Mr. Oleander, you flatter me. No, I wish I were as powerful of a magic user as to be able to read your hearts and minds. No, 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 no. It's much more simple than that. I merely created an illusion based off of what I knew of you. Everything you've ever told me, every snippet of conversation, every interaction, every bit of information in Dame Leonora's records, everything that I could find out about you went into that illusion. The more I knew, the more realistic it was, and so long as it was close enough to the truth, people tend to see what they want to see.
That interests me because Damus said the illusion of his master did not. He said it did not look or sound like his master, but it was his master, like through vibe.
He said that it didn't look like him, and it didn't sound like him, but it did act like him. Yes.
Damus spoke upon the illusion of his master and said it didn't look like his master or sound like his master, but it acted like him.
Essie sort of stops in his steps there and looks visibly perplexed. His eyebrows are scrunched tight together. That's not possible. After all, I went off of every record, every portrait, every written interview of everyone who had ever come in contact with a sage Cassian. I'm quite certain that I made his likeness just so.
Oleander's eyebrows raise. That's not a good thing, I don't think.
No, I should say it isn't.
Thank you for entertaining me. I will inform Damus of this, of the meeting, but also I'm going to go grab a portraiture book from the library.
By all
and
means.
see if we can deduce this.
By all means. It's pretty far back in the library, mind you. One of the really dusty ones.
I'll make note. And thank you for your time, Essie.
Of course. And he'll
Oleander,
skip ahead and catch up with Dame Leonora.
Oleander immediately scampers back to the library to get portraitures of the multiple courts Maris was in. but also a portraiture book containing Cassini, if possible.
Interesting.
And a portraiture book containing Cornelius.
Okay. So like royal portraits through the years, and then if there are any, portraits of celestial courts in centuries past. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. I will make note of that. We probably won't get to that tonight because we got some other things we want to do. But I'm going to make note of that. Cool. Topaz. Speaking of
Yep.
Lapis, you wanted to talk to her.
I did.
All right.
I would say Topaz probably just goes back to his room, opens the door, and just closes it behind him, and just looks over at Lapis and says, I hope that wasn't too long.
No, it wasn't.
You sound disappointed.
I'm just for flavor, I'm gonna say you notice as you look around, one of your taffeta dresses is in a different place than you remember having put it.
There.
but it doesn't seem to be horribly wrinkled, which implied she probably picked it up, contemplated it, and then put it down.
Do you touch my taffeta?
I only touched it.
Hmm.
I didn't do nothing.
It's fine.
How was your snogging session with Sir Gwyn?
Oh, I thought you were upset. And I mean, I guess you still are, but
I just don't... Topaz, you're so smart. What are you doing getting mixed up with him? I mean, I get it, he's cute if you like that sort of thing, but...
Can I need to loop you in on a few things. Come here.
She'll scooch over and sit next to you on the mattress.
So, I guess I got to come clean about a whole bunch of things.
Oh
so
god,
we'll
please,
start
please say you're not getting married.
not eloping. That's not happening.
Alright, good, because Dad'll kill you.
I know he would. Even if it was to the Star or to some powerful general. Yes, me and Gwyn and me and Essie are seeing each other. That is true.
Her eyes
Didn't-
kind of widen.
I don't say this to throw you off. I just want to be clear so that way you don't have any further questions or suspicions. You know how I am. But, there's more to it than that. That has nothing to do with romance. And I know you like to gossip. And that's why I kind of kept you out for a bit. And I'm sorry. But whether or not I wanted it, I found myself rather entwined in helping the people I care for, as you know I do. And, well, there's a lot of shit going on.
I mean, yeah,
So,
Dame Leonora got stabbed.
right. There's some wild conspiracy going on, and I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm helping where I can. So, that's what I've been doing when I sneak off late at night. When Gwyn came by to grab me the other night, and you tore him a new asshole, that wasn't for any sort of romantic rendezvous or nothing. That one at least was truly just business.
Business? What kind of business? What kind of business needs to be conducted at 2 a.m? I mean, Topaz, you're a wretched liar. Do you really expect me to buy that?
I'm not lying. I'm not lying, Lapis. You deserve it. We think the royal family is the one that killed the Queen, Queen Isolde. And Essie wants to deal out justice, so to say.
Huh? Topaz, do you know how mad you sound?
I know how mad I sound. We were all brought up to believe that they went up into the heavens.
They
but
ascended. Everyone knows that. It's like
They
The
didn't.
most romantic story ever, and everyone tells
It's
it to their
not.
kids and their grandkids.
Lapis, she never came back up. Essie said so.
So it's just a big lie then? How could they
Yeah.
just lie about? How could they lie and get away with it?
I suppose that's what we're trying to figure out. I know that story. It's the closest thing we've ever had to a storybook ending in real life. But I guess it's not true. That story of true love. I mean, maybe there was love. I don't know. But I don't think it ended that way.
So this whole time you've been working with Essie to find out who killed her?
Hmm.
And Sir Gwyn was helping you?
He was.
And I absolutely obliterated the man.
He was not in a good place after that moment. I think he was right mad at me. Well, mad at you mostly, but kind of leaned into me as well.
She kind of sets her face in her hands and just goes, "Oh no."
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but
But I didn't know that. I mean,
no, you didn't know that. It's all right.
Look at how it all looked, and
It looked pretty bad.
and I thought that you, and I thought that he, and I thought that. Oh.
Gwyn pledged something to me earlier today. Pledged that he would make the world a kinder place. I know what everyone says about him, and I know that maybe it was true in the past, but the man that he is now doesn't seem to be that mercenary who would trample over a soft person's dreams. I think I've given him plenty of opportunity to break my heart. And every time, he's assured me that he wouldn't dream of it. I mean, I guess he could still be lying. This is all some awful scheme, but I'm gonna choose to put my faith in him. And if it's a mistake, it's a mistake. But I really care for him. Immensely. Both him and Essie. They...
Well, that's more than you ever could have said about your last boyfriend.
Don't remind me.
I mean, he was a perfectly nice guy, but you said more kind words about Sir Gwyn in these last 5 minutes than you ever did for, what's-his-face?
You're right. I mean, he was a piece of work. He's fine. He was just kind of annoying. And wasn't a good fit for me.
You
Not
really,
this-
you really like them, don't you?
I really do.
Enough that you'd get yourself mixed up in something real dangerous?
I suppose I have.
Dad's gonna
But isn't-
kill you.
Isn't that what it's all about, though? Like, I know you're sad about what I told you before, but I mean, we can make a little storybook ending out of this, right?
Topaz, I'm not like you in the sense that I need a fairy tale ending, you know? I don't need some Mr. Darcy walking towards me in the mist just before dawn. You know what I need? Comfortable living, plenty of money, preferably with a cute woman.
It is just as noble of an aspiration.
I think I'd never had much faith in your romantic notions, Topaz, but I shan't be the one to dissuade you from them. Not if they make you happy. But please be careful. And no more secrets.
No more secrets. Essie's going to be staying with us. So, just need to make sure that it's all right.
So, where to next? Can't imagine you're going home.
We did promise Diamond a visit.
Can I come too? Although, do I really want to get mixed up with you right now?
I don't know if you want to get mixed up with me. I suppose you don't have to. You want to go stay with Cordelia?
They never invite me.
Oh. I believe in you. Maybe show up at their doorstep, be all romantic.
Well,
Maybe-
I suppose I could always call on them. It'd be rude if I send a calling card and they don't reply.
Diamond wanted to see you.
I'd like to see Diamond
said
too.
so.
It's been too long.
That's where we're off to. We're all right. We're all right.
We're gonna have to let Dad know.
Oh. I mean, he doesn't have to know, does he?
He has to know we're not coming back, because I mean, everyone's gonna know that the trials are ended.
Yeah, I guess we have to let Dad know.
Maybe we'll
I'll
write Mom.
handle it.
Maybe we'll write Mom.
That's a good idea. That's
That's
right.
That's a
Mom.
good idea.
She wouldn't be as mad. We'll handle that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Ask for forgiveness on our permission.
So true. So true.
I love you, sister.
I love you too.
We'll make it through.
You better.
I will.
Oh, I guess I'll have to apologize to Sir Gwyn. I'm absolutely mortified.
I believe in you.
Oh, I'll worry about that later, along with everything else that I'm going to worry about later.
Let's get packing.
All right. And she'll start collecting all of the piles and piles of dresses and petticoats and stockings and jewelry and combs and all sorts of finery. And you can see, like, with Lapis, with her stuff, she tries to fold it very neatly, into her suitcase, and then she ends up just getting frustrated, shoving it in the suitcase and just, like, slamming it until it just clicks shut.
Yeah, because these two have so much shit and they have no servants that they brought with them. So they are truly just like so much stuff on them.
But yeah, I think with that is where we will end things for tonight. We will resume in a couple weeks' time. Let's see, what is the next date? Likely the 15th, October 15th. But thank you guys so much for playing. Thank you so much for viewers for watching. I hope you all had a lot of fun as we delve ever deeper into this drama and mystery. But for now, have a very good night, my friends. We will see you next time. Take care of yourselves until then. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.